Hello, and welcome to the Supernatural Stalker Files podcast, where we investigate this psychic phenomena currently infringing on the privacy rights of unsuspecting innocent citizens worldwide. Tonight, in my follow-up interview, Amy will give us a bit more detail into this unfolding ordeal in Episode 2, Remote Attack, Heroes and Villains.
Amy, welcome back for this follow-up episode. This week, you lightened the mood with a highlight on the heroes in your story, the angel, and as you call them, silent ones. Give our listeners a little background on the angel. I know you want to keep his identity private for protection, but give us what details you can about this angelic hero. Yes, it was really nice to just lighten the mood a little bit to start the week, because I know this story's really fucking heavy for people. So the angel, I know you can see it on my face right now. He is absolutely a magnificent person. So we've known each other. We met, it was about 15 years ago, just randomly at a house party. And I don't want to give away his identity because, like I said, I do, like you were pointing out, I want to protect his identity. And there's a reason for that I'm not going to get into right now. I may disclose that further down the road, but for right now, let's just say he's somebody that I met 15 years ago, and we were, not only did we meet in the physical world, but prior to that, I had a spiritual awakening, and part of that spiritual awakening was a Kundalini awakening. And I started feeling this energy around me, and it felt solid. That's when I first discovered, this was like 2009, 2010. This is when I first discovered that I could feel energy. So not only could I feel it as if it was solid form, there was a heat register to it. And it started with having these sexual, energetic connections that were deeply personal for me, because I do not open up very easily that way. And at this time in my life, I was single. Me and my ex-husband, this was our first divorce. And I'm a monogamous. I like to be in a monogamous relationship when I'm having sex. And so I found it really hard to be out in the dating scene. So basically part of this spiritual awakening was me really getting in touch with my sacred sexuality. And in came this angel is what he represented to me. And at first I thought he was in another dimension because I was having these experiences, out of body experiences at first. And so as we got deeper into it, I'm talking maybe like a month or two down the road from when this started, I could feel, not only could I feel the energy, but there was like a weight in the bed, and I started to understand that he was an actual person in the physical world. And that was really exciting for me. So anyway, flash forward to about 3 years ago. He and I also had a meeting. I'm not going to tell you how or where because it's going to give away his identity. The point is that we started forming a really deep personal connection in the physical world. So it's about 15 years that I've known him, and the connection was being established both on an energetic and physical world level. So that leads me into the next question that I have. Do you and the angel have a strong connection in the physical world outside of your telepathic one? So this is one of those questions that's really hard to answer, because yes, we do, but currently we do not. Currently we have had to hit pause, so to speak, on the physical world connection because of the ordeal I'm currently in. And that's being done on purpose. But it's a little bit painful for me to talk about that part. But yes, we do have an extremely strong connection in the physical world, which led to a deeper energetic connection behind the scenes. When you say there's a possible romance on the horizon, is this something you anticipated having prior to this set of horrific events? To answer this, truthfully, in my fantasies, absolutely. I was playing this out in my mind a million times over. However, due to extenuating circumstances, which again, I'm not going to get into because I do want to protect his identity, I had absolutely no attachment to him returning the feelings that I had. And so, no, I did not, to answer your question more concisely, I did not feel like there was any hope of any sort of a romance between us prior to this set of events kind of really bringing us together. Describe the highlight of this connection, meaning what's your favorite part of your connection with the angel? My favorite part of this connection is the reflection I see of myself within him. I've never met anyone before that so dramatically reflected me back to me, meaning he sees me, he hears me, and he just shares a lot of the same. He parallels my life in a lot of ways, not only in experiences, but in the way he expresses himself. So that is by far my favorite part of this connection. Is I've never met another human that I have felt such a deep connection with that I don't even need to speak to on a regular basis. And I can feel him with me before even the telepathy kicked in, before I even fully started to understand what this connection meant on a grander scale. It's what he makes me feel when I'm with him without even trying. That's my favorite part. Let's dig a little bit deeper into, prior to this broadcast, you did mention he's going through a hard time in relation to what's happened, and this has caused you all to hit pause. How does that make you feel? Well, I mean, number one, I hate what is happening to me. And on some level, I'm wondering if he's being affected because the parasite and the henbots, they travel. They're like a fucking virus, okay? And so one of my biggest fears is that he too is currently experiencing some of this. So anyway, hitting pause. How does it make me feel? It doesn't feel good. It hurts. It's very painful. This connection in the physical world meant the world to me. As you know, in the United States, things are not going so fucking great. And so it's just adding a layer of stress and almost like disassociation of what's happening in my life because he was that important to me. And having that disconnect happening in the physical world, it's really painful. It's hitting me right in the heart. And I can't help but wonder if he's okay, how things are going for him. And so that part, with the telepathic energetic connection, there is, because the parasite, she comes in, she knows how to mimic voices. I know this is going to sound really weird. It's another layer of fucking strange on top of this entire thing. But she comes in and she mimics voices. And so what she does is she changes the dialogue a lot. And she has an extreme amount of jealousy towards this connection, as do the henbots. And so it's like a game. They call it sabotage. I mentioned that in episode number 1. It's a game for them to try to basically break this connection down, this relationship down to its bare bones so that they can fucking bury it, right? But they're not going to bury it. It's making me feel a little hostile right now. I'm sure you can tell, because they've already basically destroyed the rest of my life through this process. And this is the one shining star that I had that they are trying to grab at and bury. And I'm not going to let them do it. But it's very painful and it's infuriating. Not at him. I'm not mad at him. I want to make that clear. I'm mad at the people, the naysayers, the perpetrators, the criminals that are currently stalking me. It makes me very angry. Amy, I think we can all feel your pain and anger and justified hostility at what is going on. So thank you for giving us those details before we talk about the silent ones. What was it like depending on assistance from strangers? How did you know who you could trust? The silent ones. I love talking about this because I have to say that other than the angel, these strangers that just came in at always the right time when I was being heavily attacked, they would just show up, and they always ask permission, by the way. They do not interfere just willy-nilly. They come in and they say, may I interfere? May I help you? And you have to say yes. So that's how you always know, by the way, if anybody's listening that's currently under attack, who's good and who isn't. So that answers the second question. How did I know to trust them? All of my guides ask permission before I can get guidance. There's a law that's called non-interference. It can be a little annoying right now, honestly. because of everything going on out in the world. But you have to give permission in order to get assistance from higher beings. So angels, guides, anyone that's out there to help you, and including the silent ones, seem to ascribe to this methodology. Is that the right way to say that word? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway, moving on. It really renewed my faith in humanity, which I need right now. As an author who has been on a mission since I was 20 years old, I read The Artist's Way. It helped me outline what I want to do, and I write for young adults. And I didn't want to just write entertaining stories. I wanted them to have an underlying meaning to them. And this whole series of episodes, these events, really broke down my belief in the greater good, in the good of humanity, almost to the point it made me feel like my mission was obsolete, that there is no saving humanity. And I know that sounds probably pretty just pessimistic. I'm usually a very optimistic person, but being subjected to this type of attack, it's going into month 8 now. I keep saying 7 months. It's now going into month 8, and I'm really pissed off about it. It breaks down your belief in just the essence of people, especially when so many of the attackers are people that I know. They weren't just associates of mine. They were close friends. Okay? I'm sorry I'm raising my voice. I didn't mean to startle you. I apologize. So the assistance, it meant a lot to me that it was coming from strangers, because at that point, I believed that nobody deserved to live. And that is a really dark thought to have when you don't just want to exit the planet. You're like, I don't even think humanity is going to survive because we have devolved to this level. So yeah, that's how it made me feel really good to wrap up this answer. It made me feel really good to have strangers come in and assist me. What would you like to say to the angel if he's listening right now? The first thing I want to say is thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. There were moments during these events that he felt very defeated because he's in another country. He could not extend more aid to me, even though he was aiding me. He was keeping my spirits up in a myriad of ways via our conversations, our energetic connection, the entire thing saved me. It was like a life raft, a lifeline. It still is, the energetic connection. But I want to tell him thank you if he is listening in the physical world to this interview right now. And that I miss him. I miss him in the physical world. And I hope that we can begin communicating physically again and make our way back towards each other. And that the door is always open with me, no matter what's happened or what's been said or how it was said or what messages were written. I want him to know that I believe in him and I believe in this connection to the point I don't need any clear-cut answers right now. I miss him a lot. My heart hurts when I think about it. And then I'm just going to stay hopeful that we're going to kind of stitch this together very soon. Well, I think the angel will appreciate that message. Very good. Do you know the parasite in the physical world? If so, for how long? So good vibes gone. We're going to jump right in to my least favorite topic, which is this bitch. Okay, that's what I'm going to call her right here. She's a parasitic bitch, and I've known her for 3 fucking years. 3 years I've known her. That's going to be important for later in the interview. You gave me the list of questions, so I came prepared. Yeah, only 3 years. Never even had a physical world conversation with her at all. Not a chat, not an actual conversation. So she is an acquaintance, and that's all I'm going to say for right now. What was her mode of operation from the beginning, and how has it evolved, or should I say devolved, over the course of this seven-month span? Her mode of operation is fear. It is fear-based and bullying tactics. Basically, she came in telepathically, calling me all sorts of names, harassing me about the way that I look, my weight, what I look like, my age, my mental disabilities, my physical disabilities, anything that she had garnered through our online connection over the 3-year span that she knew me. She used that as a weapon against me. And she was relentless. So that's how it began, was her trying to break me down mentally via bullying, by just repeating. And she was relentless. And when I say fucking relentless, I mean nonstop, all day, all night. And this went on, I would say, for about 2 months before the real physical attacks started. So the second part of that question, how has it evolved, or should you say devolved? It's interesting because it started with the harassment, the bullying, about how ugly and disgusting I was. And it progressed into this super creepy physical fixation between my legs and her lust for me. She started referring to me as her girlfriend. I cannot tell you a more fucking disturbing thing to have happen than to have your attacker start basically acting like you're in a fucking relationship with them. I'm sorry for all the cussing. I'm really upset right now. I'm upset because it's this part, it makes me sick to my stomach, because not only was I being sexually attacked, I was being sexually attacked by someone who was trying to convert me into being a lesbian. And she was trying to convince me that I was her girlfriend all at the same time, which, as a heterosexual woman who was being attacked, it was just one layer of trauma over the other during this time. So that's how it devolved. It went from she's just saying rude, bullying, troll-like, comments that a fifth grader would use, to she is now letting me know that she's in love with me and wants to spend the rest of her life with me. She also talked about wanting to kidnap me and blow up the United States so that I would have to move to where she is. She's in Japan. Yeah, I'm gonna drop that little tidbit right there. I'm not outing her by name yet, but yeah, she is from Japan. So that's where she is right now. Yeah, fun fact. So anyway, this is how this devolved for me. Was it went from bullying and harassment into this extreme psychosis where she thought we were having some sort of a romance between us. And it made me sick to my stomach. And she's still doing it right now, actively does it. And it grosses me out. That really does sound traumatizing, Amy. I'm so sorry to hear this. What are some of the most disturbing things she said to you during these physical sexual attacks? I just want to put out and issue a warning to listeners that are more sensitive. This part is going to be hard to hear, so you might want to skip ahead. I'm also going to list it in the description box under this and give that to you, because I want you to write it out. The things that she said, I want it documented, because this may help bust her later down the road, because I really need that to happen as a psychic and as someone who cares about humanity and children in particular. She told me that she was telling people that I was a pedophile. There were people that were coming in telepathically accusing me of this, accusing me of abusing my animals. Anybody that knows me knows I won't even step on an earthworm when I am out walking. I take the time, I scoop it up if it's still alive, and I carry it to fresh dirt. That's what I do. That's how much I care about animals and children. I can't even watch them being violated in any sort of way, in fiction, in a book, in media, never mind me being the offender. So that's the first offense, is that she was basically grooming me to hear that I'm the offender, and then she was telling other people this en masse. By the way, I'm fucking not. Okay, so if you believe that shit, please do your research before you come into somebody's house with this telepathic terrorist shit and just spouting shit off that you heard from some fucking maniac psychopath, okay? Just a warning to you. Sorry, I'm going to take it down. This is really hard for me to talk about. It's revving me up a bit. It's making me angry. It's making me sick to my stomach. But I agreed to this interview, so I'm going to go for it. That was the first thing, was her accusing me of being the pedophile and the animal abuser. Oh, and every time I pet one of my animals, I am trying to have sex with the animal. Fun fact that I know about her is she enjoys having sex with animals. So that's one thing I had to hear. And then her fixation on not just teenagers, because they're more attractive, but young children and babies even, because of how soft they are. She kept comparing my body parts to that of a baby and how much it turned her on. I also have childhood regressions. This is something she knew because of our connection online, and also because of her stalking. But she would actively, with the HENBOTs, they did this too, because they also knew that I was having these because they were good friends of mine. Remember that fact. It's going to be important later. She would want me to go into a childhood regression. I have a blanket, a special blanket, and everybody thinks it's funny. They've been bullying me over that for 8 fucking months. There's lots of people who have a favorite fucking blanket. It's not that weird. And even if it is, I use it in the privacy of my home as comfort. She would send me into a regression and work for hours traumatizing me so that she could then sexually touch me, because now I'm a younger version of myself. And then she would describe that to me as I was sitting there like a stunned fucking bird. She would fondle me energetically, stick her hands up inside of me, and say these awful things to me. Other parts on the list that are very concerning for me that I'm going to mention is she would get into these zones, because she's also on crystal meth, by the way. She would get into these zones of excitement for herself that she would start talking about wanting to eat my intestines, wanting to cut me up, wanting to have sex with my dead body, because she would attack me to the point days on end that I would literally be lifeless in the bed, where she enjoyed trapping me. And she would discuss this in detail. I'm going to save other disturbing things that she said because I feel like those are just the highlights. She enjoys torture. She gets off on it, and she talks about it to her victims in depth while she's torturing them, both mentally, physically, and sexually. And it's extremely disturbing. Describe the worst aspect of this forced connection with the parasite. The worst aspect is she has collapsed my entire life out of some delusion that we are girlfriends and she has a right to my body because she's rich and I'm what she labels a poor American. She believes that she has the right to violate me because she will never get caught or suffer consequences because she comes from a family with money. She doesn't have money because she's young. She's younger than me, way younger. She comes from a family that has money, and she believes because she's in Japan, she's not going to suffer any consequences because I'm just a low-life, middle to lower class American. And that is how she views it. So to me, that is the worst, most distressing aspect of this, is that she thinks she's just going to get away with this. But this is my first step to rectifying that delusion. We had a chat about the odd fixation the parasite has had on you. Please tell us what was revealed about where this obsession began. How long has she been stalking you? Okay, so this is one of the most disturbing bits of information I just got literally like a week ago. 2008, I did an author visit at Brandon Hall Academy, and they have an international base of students. This is before I got hired as an art teacher. That was following this author visit. I was there promoting Quest for the Dragonstone, Quest for the Elfin Elixir. I got published in my senior year at the Atlanta College of Art with these 2 books. And I was there signing books. She described what to me was a little girl, between 11 and 15. I don't know what the age was. She had these big glasses on, and she just didn't feel good about herself. And I took the time to talk to her about it and to boost her self-esteem. And I signed those books. And she let me know while she was violating me one night that she was that little girl. And she still has those books. It traumatized me on a level I can't. She took my dream and now has marred it in with this absolutely sick obsession. So she apparently was born with this gift and developed this fixation. So she has been following me since 2008. It is 2025. And she's been haunting me. She's admitted to me. She's been stalking me, listening to me, documenting me, tracking my movements, and messing with my body physically and mentally for a really long time. So I don't even understand how much this one sick, deranged individual has reshaped my reality. It's terrifying. That is terrifying. Give us some details on the HENBOTs. What was it like being attacked by close friends and associates? How did this affect your overall mental and physical health? Yes, so I know We touched on this in episode 1. This has been the most traumatizing part, believe it or not, more than the lead villain, the parasite. These henbots, and I call them fucking henbots because they're all female and they're poor mimics of my mom's generation who had valid complaints because they were being treated like shit by the men in their lives. They really were. But these women are mimicking that. They have suffered nothing other than their own faux outrage, and they peck and they complain and they stalk and they bitch and they gossip. Well, these women did not seem like henbots when I met them. They fucking tricked me. They manipulated me into believing they were people that they're not. And this is one reason throughout my life I have had to retract from female group situations, because this is a problem in our society. But let me scale it back, because that's going to probably be a whole other episode that I get into that and talk about that at a later date. It was traumatizing. It caused me so much pain. These weren't just friends. They were my closest friends, my closest girlfriends that I trusted with private information, brought into my home, had them at all of my events and special moments in my life, spanning the course of like the last 20 fucking years. And to have them rally around while this was happening to me and chiming in. Not only did they not help me, they actively participated in the attacks and are still doing it. They're stalking me right now as I am sitting here in this studio with you, talking to you about this. So it is still ongoing. They are not listening to warnings, and it is really crippled me mentally, meaning I don't want to leave my house. I'm fortified and I'm strong and I know what's going on, but I don't want to leave my house because it becomes dangerous for other people to be exposed because they're stalking me. They can latch on to the person I'm talking to because they travel through fucking sound and conversation. And they're not stopping. We're going into month 8 and it's like, yeah, we're still here for the show. Well, I'm trying to tell them this isn't fucking Netflix. I'm not being paid and you're a piece of shit. But unfortunately, there's no cops for this right now. I hope that changes because it seems like it's a pretty big fucking problem. But yeah, and physical health, they're crashing my physical health and they know it. Nay, not only do they know it, they are hoping for my death. There's one henbot in particular. Right now I'm going to call her Pink, aka Special K. She is actively stalking me. This is someone who's my best friend. She lives 1 mile from me. And she has taken it upon herself to follow me into the bathroom and make comments, to follow me into the shower. She is sexually aggressive, touching me. She has the same remote view. I don't know what this is or where this technology came from, but it's from the dark web. It's being used inappropriately. And she can touch me. And she follows me around my house and harasses me nonstop about my weight. She doesn't shut up about it. And this was someone that I absolutely fucking trusted. And so the physical toll on my health, well, they're putting me into adrenal failure. My back is killing me. I can barely walk. So when you add it all up, the physical strain, I'm 51 years old. It raises my blood pressure. This could kill me. And she rejoices and makes me hear it. So it's just this nonstop stream of harassment that they don't seem to comprehend is happening to me. I don't know if they are hearing each other or they're only hearing themselves. I don't really know how they're justifying this to themselves, but it's awful to answer that as concisely as I can. What would you like to say to the parasite if she's listening? You better stand down, bitch. Do you understand me? I've had enough of your harassment. I've had enough of your stalking. I've had enough of your sexual advances. I want to vomit every time I think of you. And if you don't stop, I'm going to out you publicly on social media. And you have a pretty big following on Instagram. So you might want to check yourself before I fucking wreck you.
This concludes tonight's episode with a heartfelt message to the angel and a warning to the parasite. You can find downloadable tips and other gifts on Facebook and Instagram. Please find those in the description box beneath this video. At the end of this month, join us for episode 3, where Amy will be outing the parasite and henbots if they don't cease and desist.